3, 2, 1. Showtime, Dale.
Greetings and good afternoon to all my viewers and listeners out there on the Primal 4K app.
Yes.
Fit FM 96.7, Facebook, YouTube, the World Wide Web. I want to welcome you all to Primal Sports Center. I'm your host, Dale. And this week, we have a substitute guest. One Prime, introduce yourself.
Yes, O'Neill Fraggy, one Prime goals. I'm substituting for Kane the Schwab. Watson is out there somewhere.
Yeah, man, let me tell the people where him is. As him say, I'm retired, but I don't think him retired. We know Kane and a couple of the Jamaicans are representing themselves at the North American Table Tennis Team Championship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
So, you know, I know they're currently playing now. I know him say promised to kind of chime in and let us know what's happening on the ground over there in Washington, D.C. But good tournament.
Chris Marsh.
Glad to see that he's
back in action.
He's back in action. You know, I know a lot of people talk about them retire, but at the end of the day, they can't do without it.
Like Peter.
Yeah, man. Table tennis is
life.
Is life. It's a part of them life. You know. So I know Christopher Marsh is there, and I think Mike Henry, Odinga Mitchell, former KC representative.
Yeah.
A couple
and
of
the table tennis champion himself.
Yeah, man. I want to tell you, it's a big tournament, and I would always encourage. A lot of the youngsters to try and attend this tournament. I know it's not convenient in terms of the time because it's during the school time, but this tournament you play till your hand drop off.
Which is good, which is what they actually need, playing time.
Yeah, man, and it's a variety of players. You know, you have all type of players you'll buck up on in a tournament like that. So, well, a big tournament. I hope them. Yeah. I think they won. They won 2 matches yesterday. I think that the last one, but is a host of matches. You know, you probably have about maybe 15 to 16 games. Yeah, matches that you have to play over a 3-day period. It always happens during the same time of year, Thanksgiving weekend, that whole weekend there. So, I wish him luck.
Yeah, best of luck to the entire team out there in Washington D.C. You know, we're always there supporting.
I see some people talking about it's a retirement team. No, but it's pure national champion, you know. Between Kane and Christopher Marsh, they probably have about nine titles. 9 national
and Mark
titles.
is his first.
And Mark Phillips, our current national champion, is also there.
10.
He's using this in preparation for next year upcoming season, the Caribbean Championships, which I think Mark will be trying to represent the country at next year at the Caribbean level. I hope Kane will come out of retirement. Also, Simon, I guess they're waiting for the election
what is the date
change of administration before they decided that they will decide whether they want to pick up back the racket or not. But I think the sport desperately need those two guys to come back. I think Mark need them to come back because as we look at it now, there's a huge gap between Mark and the rest of the field.
Yeah, but will there be an election? Let us not go down that road.
Yeah, you will have an election. I think there's a lot of we had a couple of deaths, a couple of incidents happening over the past month or so. I think we have to give the administrator time to get themselves in order. Yeah, because it's a rough time now for a lot of the people within the association. So let us give them some time. So we don't want to go down that road pressing for election at this point in time. But let us hope that these guys will come out of retirement next year and serve Jamaica well.
Well,
you know, yeah.
With that said, we have a jam-packed show today.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. We have the Honourable himself, Mike Fennell OJ, former president of the JOA, Jamaica Olympic Association, and also the Commonwealth Games Federation. You'll be here with us live. We have a roundup of schoolboy football action over the weekend from last week. We have to discuss the whole topic of Elaine Darren Bravo being omitted from the West Indies cricket squad to face South Africa. A host of tournaments also have the Dakasta Cup to talk about the Reggae Girls as well with the JFF. They're back at it again, and the Reggae Boys.
Yeah.
Hot topic.
Outstanding game. Well, not outstanding.
Outstanding result.
But a good result.
Outstanding result. Beating Canada 2-1 there in the qualifiers, Nation League qualifiers. They are now through to the semi-finals and also through to the Copa America So we have to just big them up. We have a host to talk about yeah, what's up?
Okay, we can kick off things with a little. We'll start touch with the high school football. I know it's a big topic within Kingston, and Jamaica itself. So KC going down to Heidel.
Yeah, in the Manny Cup semi-finals, KC went down. Well, it was actually 2-2 full-time results. Last 5-4.
I shouldn't say we. Kingston College, well, I should say we, but let's just
KC lost 4-5 on penalties. A pretty young team, but they showed what the Fortis Cedare is all about.
The fight.
We fight right down to the end, and
we're down 2-0, right?
We're down 2,
yeah.
And we came back and we roared like the true.
You know, this sound like a bias show, you know, when you say we, you know. it kind of sounds kind of biased. So let us say KC.
KC roared back, and yes. they did the school well. It's a pretty young team, and we're looking forward to seeing them next year.
What
so
about Heidel? I hear
Heidel,
you're talking about your former school, Kingston College. What about Heidel? I'm reaching the second Manning Cup as a non-traditional football school.
Let's give them props. They've been knocking on the door for the year for years now. They and Mona, and accidentally Mona defeated George's 2-1 in the second. Incidentally, Mona defeated St. George's 2-1 in the second semi-final. Should I say the first semi-final? So it's
big up to Craig Butler. He has been saying that he's going to win the Manning Cup for years now.
It's a Mona Heidel final. So if I was to be out there, outside of the box, I would say it's a good final. It's a battle between two teams that have been knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And it would be on December 8th, so we're looking forward to that final. Personally, I'll give my takes on who I think will win that one after.
Let us welcome the Primal Sports Center,
the
Honourable Mike Fennell, the former president of the Jamaica Olympic Association, and also the president or chairman of the Commonwealth Games Federation. Welcome, Mr. Fennell.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me.
Yes, Mr. Fennell. Now, we want to kick off. We're going to start a little bit different, this interview a little bit different, because we want to know about your early childhood before we get into the late stage of your career in terms of what you accomplished. So just give us a little rundown, a quick rundown of your early childhood, the school you went to, which parish you were born in, how you made that transition into sports.
You realize you want to go back many, many years.
Yes, I do. Okay. We want to get to know Mr. Fennell, the early days.
Right. Well, first of all, I was born in St. James, Cambridge, St. James. And my father then worked with the government. So we lived in many parishes. And I ended up, when we were living in Hope Bay, Portland, ended up going to board at Calabar High School on Slipen Road. Right? Calabar High School on Slipen Road. Not many people of today's age knew that Calabar was down that way before it went to Red Hills.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, and boarded for a while until came to live in town, and then at school, of course. I know we try to throw away everything colonial, but one of the good things to my mind that we didn't throw away was a sports system in schools. And your schools were divided into houses, and you won points for your houses, not only in terms of sport, but what you did to assist around you. You developed a sense of service, and you develop a sense of assisting others and so on when you're at boarding school and when you have a school that has very limited resources. So that's what pulled us into that, and you played almost every sport at school, and you got points for your house. And then you concentrate on some of the sports rather than others. So that's in very simple terms, a background to my involvement in sports. And I went through school and moved from Slipen Road to Red Hills Road. I was still at school then. And then I went through, and when I was in sixth form, I was appointed head boy of Calabar. And then I had to leave school. Not as a plan, but my father had a terrible motor car accident and could not run his business, could not work. And I had to stop and assist to pay the house bills. So that's roughly the quick background childhood. Like everybody else, I played backyard cricket.
Okay.
Learned to play a lot of cricket backyard. I swam a lot and then represented Jamaica at water polo. And then it was only Bournemouth Bass. And what many men many people would not know today. I not only represented Jamaican water polo at the Central American Caribbean Games, but I was a captain. I captained the West Indies team when the West Indies Federation was in place, and we went to the Pan American Games in Chicago in 1959. I was captain of that water polo team that went to those games.
West Indies water polo team.
Right. At that time, the Rome Olympics in 1960 was also West Indies. The Rome Olympics, we did not participate as Jamaica, Trinidad, or Barbados. We went there as a West Indies Federation team. And this is a part of our history that many people, very few people know about. And then when we became independent in 1962, we went back to represent Jamaica. And in 1962, when they had the Central American Caribbean Games here in Kingston, Jamaica, which was the reason for building the stadium, I represented Jamaican water polo at those games. And we had a tussle in the final with Mexico. We lost to Mexico eventually. Mexico got the gold and we got the silver. So anyhow,
Amazing.
that's very, very, very quickly a background of sports. And then I got drawn into assisting. Unlike what happens today, each sport, the people who play the sport had to fix the arrangements and the fixtures for participating. I mean, when you played cricket, I played a lot of junior cup cricket, you had to go out and make sure you roll the wicket, mark the wicket and all that sort of thing. You didn't have many people doing things for you. When we went to Bournemouth, we had to fix the goals in the pool, we had to take them out back, we had to do everything ourselves. Those were the days when you did everything yourself in order to play sport.
How big was water polo in those days?
Pretty big. And at Bournemouth, we used to draw some heavy crowds, night, day. We had very significant Caribbean championships, mainly against Trinidad and Barbados. They didn't call it Trinidad and Tobago in those days, they just said Trinidad.
Okay.
And I remember we had foreign teams coming out from places like the University of Texas and so on, very active in those days.
Yeah, so because you were hands-on now, that is how the transition came by in terms of administrating.
Well, I was asked to assist with other sports. I assisted the administration of swimming, and then I assisted with the administration of amateur boxing. I went there and used to fix up the ring at Sabina Park and at Heroes Park, where the Guinness gym was, and assisted. And I went through having assisted with timing and the gloving and so on, and eventually I became secretary and then eventually president. So I went through the ropes from the ground up. I didn't just land in the top.
Okay, well, I see. The way you say it still is, you sound like you're saying that's how things are now. People.
Well, no, it's a message I'm trying to give, because a lot of people want to land in the top. and I forget that the journey starts at the bottom, at grassroots.
Yeah,
and that's why they don't quite understand the needs of the grassroots when they get to the top.
Yes.
I second you with that one, because you can speak from the athlete's perspective as well.
Absolutely.
So a lot of them probably come into power and they totally neglect that side of things. They just run in business how they want to run it. And then we'll find ourselves in the situation that we are today with a lot of the administration, the problems between the athletes and the federation and the associations. As you said, the grassroots, you have to know and kind of have that experience from that perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now take us now. So you turned the president of the boxing?
I was president of boxing for some time. I was a person who brought the Sunshine Showdown here to Jamaica.
Whoa.
Okay.
That was Joe Fraser versus
Ali?
No, George Foreman.
George Foreman.
Yes.
Okay.
In the National Arena.
No, in the National Stadium.
That was in the stadium? I thought that was in the arena.
No, let me correct you. So obviously you need a lot of correction. In the National Stadium.
Yes.
So that would have been the biggest fight in our history in terms of boxing.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell us a little about the turnout and everything.
Fantastic turnout. One of the biggest crowds there, because you had seats on the field, and then you had seats in the bleachers and everything, and the grandstand. So it was a huge turnout. And that was in 1973.
Yes. Yeah, Mr. Fennell, but how did you come by getting that type of match here in Jamaica?
I don't know if you have time for that, but I got a call from a booking agent in New York, and he asked me whether we would host this, and I said, ridiculous, we don't have this sort of funding for that. The government had just changed in 1972, and I said, you know something, this is interesting. When we looked at the numbers, I said, how much would we have to pay? I'll come back to that in a minute. And then we looked at it, and the government had just changed, and Michael Manley was the prime minister, sorry. And then invited people I knew very well, people like, I hope you don't mind, I don't know who your listeners are, but former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. He was a budding politician. There was Douglas Manley, who was a member of my boxing board at the time, brother to Michael Manley.
Michael, yeah.
Vunny Isaacs, a well-known sportsman and sports administrator, played great football for JC in his day, was also a politician. And a couple of others, and I took them to lunch. And they said, you know, this is impossible. How can we do it? So what is not well known is that the amount of money was very low because Fraser had to defend his title or else he would have lost it. As you know, in the boxing, if you don't defend your title within a certain time. Yeah. And when they quoted the money, they said he will do it for that because it's a walk in the park with George Foreman, and he will just do it and he'll satisfy the people. Well, it wasn't a walk in the park. He went out in a stretcher.
Yes. I remember there were at least 5 or 6 knockdowns in 2 or 3 rounds.
Well, not 3 rounds. It didn't last 3 rounds.
I think it was, 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But I remember Fraser got up and Foreman bounced him on the canvas.
So Foreman at the time. Foreman at the time would have been a little bit unknown.
Unknown, he was to use my words, an impudent little youngster who thought he was good, and Fraser was going to teach him a lesson.
Okay.
And the whole thing was reversed. And people talk about how Foreman massacred him, but the fact is, Fraser's people thought he was just going to have a walk in the park. And it was completely reversed. So the planning and arrangements for that were interesting, because when Prime Minister Michael Manley said, well, I was then boxing board, which was the regulatory body, and I declared clearly that I could not be a part of the promotion. And then it was then promoted by National Sports Limited. National Sports Limited was a body responsible for the stadium at the time. Is now then became In Sports later on. It was then National Sports Limited. And that promoted the fight, and we had this record of having a world heavyweight title fight here. And from that, as you know, George Foreman went on to create history in many, many areas. And after boxing, I think he became a chef.
Yeah.
So very interesting. I can't give you the full story here, but a fascinating thing. But at the time, when they thought it was impossible, and I put down the numbers, and I said, let's go for it. And the government of the day, through Michael Manley, says, boy, when I first spoke to him about it, because the others said I would have to go and tell him because he would laugh at the others, but he wouldn't laugh at me. So when I went to him, he laughed at me and said, you've got to be joking. And when I laid out the thing, one of the things that people didn't know about Michael Manley, he was a fantastic speaker. He was one of the most eloquent speakers anywhere in the world, but he was also a good listener. And that is an important thing. Not many people who speak well listen. He listened, and he says, my God, you have got a point. Can we really put it together? And we outlined to him, and then the boxing board I had with Douglas Manley, the late Johnny Martinez was there, one of them. Leroy Brown was there at the time, just to name a few, you know.
Okay, no problem. So, take us now to your presidency of the JOA between 1977 and 2017. How did that come along, and did you face any challenges during that period when you were president?
You got to be joking. did I face any challenges? Numerous challenges. First of all, there was a major transition that took place during my thing. Because remember when I became president, people asked me how come I was president for so long. In those days, nobody wanted a job.
Oh.
No, nowadays people are running it down, but
Yes.
nobody wanted it because it required you to put in a lot of your personal resources.
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed in the job that I had at Berger Paints, I was allowed, a reasonable amount of time off. I used all my holidays to give service to sport. I never went on a vacation. And that's what I used to give service to sport. And you had to have a dedication because it's not just serving sports with your plans and strategies, but you also had the people who are participating in sports, the athletes, because they had absolutely nothing, no resources. So we went on a building thing, and we had to depend very heavily on funding, mainly from government, to participate in the various games, until we brought it to a stage where we were totally independent in terms of financing what we had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I'm very proud of is that when I left, we were totally independent as a body.
So where does the funding come from?
Well, the funding comes from a variety of places. First of all, there's the sponsorship that you get,
Mm-hmm.
and you go on and sell the rights for certain things. Secondly, you have participation in the Olympic revenues through the IOC, in terms of they give you certain benefits, and that has increased considerably over the years because they now give you training grants, qualification grants, etc., which assist. Yeah. Olympics through Olympic Solidarity, correct?
Yes.
And then there was a major transition since 1984 in the Olympic Games, when organizing committees now paid the majority of what cost you to participate. Let me just tell you, principally, there are two areas. One is airfares and one is accommodation.
Okay.
Up to 1984 for Los Angeles, every participating Olympic committee had to pay a fee for board and lodging.
Oh.
Traditionally, it was $25 a day, and when Peter Ubroth came in, he said it has to be 100. It has to be a realistic figure. It was negotiated down to around $45 a day, and you had to find that money. You also had to find money for your own transportation. Since then, there have been major changes to that, where the organizing committees for these games now give you a transportation grant that covers a large proportion of your airfares, and also the board and lodging is also taken care of. So two major areas of expense are now taken care of in the present day arrangements.
Okay. All right. So what's the main function of the Jamaica Olympic Association?
An Olympic Committee. The JOA is what you'd call the NOC of Jamaica, the National Olympic Committee of Jamaica. Mm-hmm. And the National Olympic Committee is a representative of the Olympic movement in the country and is responsible for coordinating all the activities to participate in the Olympic Games. Added to that, of course, would be the other regional games that come under the Olympic movement, which would be the Pan American Games, which were held last month in Santiago, Chile, and the Central American and Caribbean Games, which is for that particular geographical area, which we hosted in 1962. Separate and apart from that, there is the Commonwealth Games movement. And the Commonwealth Games movement is not a part of the Olympic movement. It's a separate and independent body. And the JOA, like most other countries that have an Olympic committee, did both, but they're separate responsibilities.
Okay.
I'm going to mention.
Yeah, in some countries, they have two separate bodies. I'll just mention two. Canada has a separate Commonwealth Games body from their Olympic Committee, and Australia, they have a different Commonwealth Games body. So I just mentioned those, but the rest of the countries that have NOCs, they do both.
Oh, okay. So in terms of funding for individual sports, because I will tell you this, I'm a part of the table tennis community, and we have been somewhat suffering in terms of funding.
I think you should use a plural with that. Communities. Mr. Bo Young is an expert in that.
Yes, and for a couple of games, like for the Pan Am games and so forth, the games that's the responsibility of the JOA. We have not been receiving funding for these games. So is it the responsibility of JOA to fund the Jamaica Table Tennis Association to those games, or we have to somewhat?
Once you qualify, but I don't want to get into that debate on the air.
Okay.
But it's a National Olympic Committee that is responsible for taking you to those games.
Okay. I just want to clear that up.
Once you qualify.
Once you have qualified. What about the qualification process?
Well, each games establishes their qualification rules and regulations and times and distances and so on. So there's a qualification manual for each games, which says what you need to do to qualify to be available to take part.
Okay, understand.
Mr. Fennell, the other day we were talking to the outstanding cyclist who won the medal at Pan Am Games recently, and we pointed out a bit of history that cycling is perhaps the only other sport outside of track and field that we have ever won medals. So
yes, one medal in Moscow in 1980.
Yes, that was the David Weller.
Yeah.
Right. So my question, Mr. Fennell, is where do you ever see us, Jamaica, ever getting a medal from outside of track and field, given the current situation in sports in Jamaica?
Well, we came pretty close in others, you know. We had, I can remember in 1976 in Montreal, and I hold fast to this, it was very corrupt judging. Michael McCallum should have been in the medal frame.
Yes, I agree. Yes.
He was there. I've never seen such a corrupt result as the one that eliminated him before they made it wrong.
Yes.
But that apart, we've been pretty close in boxing. I think boxing stands a good chance with there.
It's probably the one.
Weightlifting was pretty close too. In the days of Calvin Stamp and those guys, when the Les Pedler was the lone wolf in keeping weightlifting going.
Yes.
Swimming was quite close. In fact, back to 84, Andrew Phillips came pretty close to being a medal.
And our girl, what's the name of her?
Alia.
Would have been also on the cusp of a medal as well.
Yeah. We must remember that the other Atkins who swam before Alia won 3 silver medals at the Pan American Games in Winnipeg.
True.
Okay. So we've been pretty close in swimming. And I think it's close all around. But, you know, Peter, one of the things that worries me is that we've had a rapid expansion in the number of sports we participate in Jamaica.
Yes.
And let's be quite clear. Do the arithmetic. The resources that are available are not any bigger. That means that the resources that are available for sport has to be divided into a hell of a lot more sports.
But Mr. Fennell, I have a question for you on that as well. On this show, I've been constantly complaining that we shouldn't be entering sports that are not played in Jamaica. Winter sports and ice skating and lacrosse and all these kind of things. What's your feeling on this broadening of the thing where these non-traditional sports are taking up some of the resources?
I don't have a complete answer now. But if you do the arithmetic, and if your resources are X, and those resources are not growing, you're dividing those resources by many more people.
Agreed.
Don't fool yourself. And whether it is the commercial sponsorship or there's a finite number of resources available for that. So you're just dividing it, and I think we need to take a look at it in terms of our sports policy and our priorities.
Okay, but Mr. Fennell, is there some benefit to introducing a man from the UK to come and do downhill skiing, which I can see no benefit for in my limited experience? But is there some benefit to having that man who is not even a serious skier represent Jamaica in downhill skiing, slalom or something?
Peter, there's no clear answer to that. There is a benefit to Jamaica.
Okay.
Remember this, that when we took part in bobsleigh, which I was a part of, it was on the basis that we didn't have any resources for it here.
Okay.
That we find the resources outside of the country. And the Bobsleigh Federation has done extremely well in doing that. right?
Yes.
They still use it's not totally separated, and they've done that. Remember also Jamaica and the brand Jamaica and the image of Jamaica has benefited tremendously from the bobsleigh history. Huh? The story.
Okay.
Even
I can see that. Yes.
Even through the film Cool Runnings.
Yes.
And then when in Vancouver in the Winter Olympics, we had the skier also went there, created quite a lot. He was well up there, again without utilizing our resources. So I think that the conditionality can be so structured that it's not drawing away from here, because those people have resources that are outside.
Okay.
A local sponsor really does not have anything to benefit from that participation.
Okay.
But the sponsors abroad can assist you with that.
I have one more question. Mr. Fennell, could you adjust your camera, please? We're not seeing you.
No, I'm sitting back. I'm sitting back.
I'm sorry. So I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have been president of the Commonwealth Federation and JOA and all this kind of thing. You have met some of the greatest athletes in the world. Who do you think is the greatest athlete you have personally met?
Usain Bolt.
I thought there'd be a number two.
Well, there are many of them, you see. You remember Michael Johnson out of Atlanta?
Yes.
Fantastic guy. He then went to live in England and is one of the top announcers on BBC, Michael Johnson. Then, of course, you may remember a Cuban heavyweight boxer called Teofilo Stevenson.
Ah, yes, I remember him well.
Who won the Olympic gold regularly.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
You met Mohammed?
Yeah. Oh, fantastic guy, man. Fantastic guy.
Yeah, boy. Yes, man.
No, Mr. Fennell, I'm telling these guys here that I was at one Commonwealth Games and I saw you coming into the building and so on. And walking next to you was the Queen of England.
I like how you put it, because you didn't put me as walking next to her. She was walking next to me.
No, so you have met some of the icons of all time.
Yes, I have. It took me into that arena, and it was really a fantastic exposure. That by itself, there are many stories on that.
Did she have a working knowledge of sports?
Oh, absolutely. She was a fantastic lady. I used to have to accompany her at the Commonwealth Games, sit beside her, and she could tell me in detail a lot about some of the sports.
Amazing.
She had an amazing aptitude for knowing detail.
Wow.
And to show you what a trooper she was. Can I give you? I don't know how much time you have. I'm going to.
We have time, Mr. Fennell. We have time.
Go ahead.
I'm going to give a little episode. You see, and it's humorous but very serious. My first Commonwealth Games as head of it was the games in Kuala Lumpur, right?
Yes. Malaysia.
And Malaysia.
Yes.
They had a stadium that held 100,000 people. 100,000. And at the closing ceremony, a part of the protocol is for me to, on the field, invite Her Majesty the Queen to declare the games closed.
Wow.
Right? So I was there, and I went down from the stand from beside her, went to the field, and then I have the great honor. This is public with 100,000 people at back, and then television as well, to invite Her Majesty the Queen to declare the games closed. The soldiers on the outside had a queue for the fireworks, and that queue was closed. And as soon as I invited her to declare the game closed, the fireworks went off before she declared the games closed. The fireworks went off and so on, and then people started to panic. And she just calmly waited until there was a lull and quickly said, "I now declare the games closed." and the fireworks went on. It was amazing example of leadership holding their posture and operating within the script, which was not a script.
Yes. Amazing.
Yes.
Before you go,
and one of the joys before you go is that one of the things that that I take pride in, the sport of athletics, which is our biggest by far in terms of international accomplishments, etc. And the current president of World Athletics is Lord Sebastian Coe. who
Yes.
I got to know very well over the years because he came to the forefront in Moscow in 1980.
Yes.
So I've sort of known him from then, and we kept our relationships going, particularly through Commonwealth Games and so on. And certainly, I think he's one of the outstanding leaders of our day, coming from being a top athlete, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. There are others that I could mention, and well, I don't have a memory stick here, but you know, but Peter, it's really sport is such a fantastic avenue of development for young people. It's such a fantastic resource.
True.
But it's also one for developing the best in human relations, whether you're a top athlete or not. And
Yes.
there's no other human activity that can bring people together in harmony, respecting rules and respecting each other than sport.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
well said, well said.
Yes.
So before you go, Mr. Fennell, so you were president of the JOA and also the Commonwealth Games Federation at the same time.
Yes.
I personally have issues with administration, but you seem to be someone who is very, very knowledgeable and someone who has led both administrations at the same time with great success. So tell me, what is it that you did differently from what is happening with a lot of our federations now, presently? What can they learn from you? Because apparently they're not so successful and there seems to be a lot of arguments between athletes and federations and associations here in Jamaica. So what is it that you did differently then, especially to make JOA so successful from what is happening now to our federations where they're basically not doing as well? And back then, were you being paid to do your job or was it just voluntary?
No. Total voluntary work. Total voluntary work. But let me just say this. My private profession is management.
Good.
When I was trained in management.
Okay.
It's a discipline I was trained in. And the same disciplines that you're trained in management are the disciplines you need to bring to sport. What are these disciplines I'm talking about? Governance. Governance is not something that somebody discovered recently. Governance is something that you must respect rules, respect your accountability, and respect your communication with others. The second thing is human relations. When you're taught management and you're told that you cannot achieve anything as a leader without followers who must also be well looked after, that teaches you how to deal with people at whatever level. So your human relations factor, where you have to depend on others. Thirdly, teamwork. No single person can achieve anything without a team, without others helping them, etc. These are disciplines that are taught in real life that you have to bring in into the life of sport. And they're so simple that obviously some people cannot recognize it.
Sure.
I think
Mr. Fennell, I have one more question to ask you. As you know, I have a long association with table tennis as a player and with you as an administrator. So I wanted to ask you, table tennis. Is table tennis and the JTT the problem child of of all sports in Jamaica, or is everybody have the same problem?
That's a trick question. Everybody has their challenges. Everybody has their challenges, right? And one of the big weaknesses of democracy is that you elect people who are popular.
True.
All right? That's and that people say is democratic, and if you get elected based on your constitution, you're it. But
yes,
people need to look on the capacity of people to do a job when you have many challenges.
Yes.
I can recall the days of Orville Haslam, and before him the days of Leo Davis and Maurice Foster and all of those people when they used to play table tennis. And there was no single organization. And it was Mr. Hilton who brought a lot of discipline into this because he was a businessman.
Yes.
And then his son afterwards took on the thing and carried on.
Yes.
But there was still in those days a dependence on clubs, the dependence on various sectors, etc. And in those days, the clubs used to respect the leadership.
Yes.
No, those are things that won't happen by chance. The leaders have to ensure that they can justify the respect and the support of others. And unfortunately, table tennis is not the only sport in Jamaica that's having challenges at that level.
Okay.
And in fact, too many of our sports have that challenge, and
Oh, dear.
it's something that needs to be looked at.
Yes.
Because it's going to be an obstacle to further progress.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Since we know you stepped down, so what are you doing these days?
Well, I'm stepped down totally. I'm still very heavily involved in the Pan American Games. I chair their technical commission,
Nice.
which is for the Pan American Games. It was a pretty substantial task because there were 39 sports on the program, and I had to have a good knowledge of all 39 sports and 60 disciplines, and not just the sports themselves, you know. So that's that. I just came back from a meeting of the Commonwealth Games Federation, where they're facing a challenge of the host for the next games, and I've been consulted on that. There's a situation where the training and development of leaders within the Pan American region. There are 41 Olympic committees in the Americas, and I've been asked to take a leading role in helping to improve the quality of management, because you could have some superstars in terms of athletes. They're not going anywhere if you don't have highly qualified judges and referees and highly qualified administrators. Without those two, the whole pyramid will collapse. So these are areas that one can assist with without having any title or responsibility. You know, you in the background, you do your work and assist as far as you can.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Mr. Fennell. The Honourable Mike Fennell for coming on Primal Sports today. All right, thank you very much. And all
Thanks
the
for
best.
having. Thanks for
Okay.
having me.
Thank you, Mr. Fennell.
Yeah,
Good
man.
luck to your program. Okay,
All
thank you
right,
very much.
thank you.
Bye.
Still involved in organizing.
You can't
Can't
just
leave
walk
it out.
away.
Yeah, we can never walk away.
You can't just walk away.
And it's good because you always have to have the elders to pass on knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just dismiss them and have them. Yeah, so it's really good.
That's
It's
just
really
one
good.
aspect, you know, because remember.
Sorry, I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that.
No, you can't. Yeah.
No, but Peter, one of the things that I deal with, which a lot of people don't know, is this thing called transfer of knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yes.
When you have a successful game like the one in Chile, we're now working on how do you transfer that knowledge to the next host, which is in Barranquilla.
Yeah.
And so you don't go reinventing the wheel every time.
Yes.
Transfer of knowledge is very important from one administration to the next.
Of course.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
Continuity.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Just continue rolling along and adding while you go along. Yeah,
I think that is the problem with a lot of our administrations here. We don't seem to continue the work of the other administration. We just seem to
But
want
they don't
to.
want to give praise to the
No,
farmer.
but I
want
can
to fix
recall.
issues.
I can recall that there have been times when I was running JTTA. Mr. Fennell would call me after record and give me a little hint and say, "Boy, Peter, I don't know what you guys doing with the selection. You know, I don't know." That is gold, you know. Like he would call you and say, "You should apply for some of these Olympic salary programs." So the JOA used to, I don't know if they still do it, gives guidance to the associations.
I think it has gotten too political. So I don't think that kind of thing still exists.
I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't
Probably
know.
too
No,
laid
I
back.
would tell you. I don't think that kind of thing exists now.
They don't transfer knowledge.
Yeah, I don't
They
think
don't
it
do that.
exists now. I think it's more like who's in favor with whom and who is
You
in
mean
this
the
corner.
sport? You mean the party sport?
Generally, over- even
the
with our
whole
politics.
landscape. Yeah, the whole thing.
I
If
give
there's
you-
no. If I'm not in your corner, you're not gonna call me and say, "Hey, I think you should do it this way, and I think you should."
And
do it
they
that
don't
way,"
listen.
You know? But you know that we're right now currently as is we're somewhat suffering in table tennis. Maybe because of a certain disconnect between our leaders and the real leaders of
Which is
of the
athletes.
whole- which is JOA. Really, there's a disconnect, and so when it's time for Kane,
I don't think you can blame the JOA. I think
I'm not blaming any one
our
person. I'm just saying
administration.
that generally there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
Generally,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
but-
saying. I'm not blaming any, but I'm saying there's a disconnect, and the athletes, the table tennis athletes. I know there probably have other sports that have the same issues, and our athletes now they're suffering from that. You see, Kane step away, Simon step away, and I'm sure.
But even in something like that, I can tell you that if Mr. Fennell was in the JOA and he saw our top athletes not playing for the country and so on, he would
That's
have
the
called somebody in administration and say, what the hell is going
But
on
you're
down
making
there?
the same point.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yes, there's a disconnect. That's what I'm saying. There's
would have-
something that have to be.
Yeah.
I don't think you should. I think it's your responsibility. And for me, as you said, maybe it's part of our president. But I will say this too. It is, you have to know about the EQ side of things. He mentioned the social part and knowing about people and making them following and be leaders. Back then him say, Mr. Hilton commanded.
Yeah, Mr. Hilton was a good administrator, no doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt.
so you as you have to learn that part of the thing to know. Boy, say, boy, I'm come in bad.
Yeah.
We need to carry back in with these people, get them back.
Yeah,
to us.
the problem is, that the structure of the thing is that you elect a man as president based on a kind of popularity.
Yeah,
And
as well,
nowhere in there competency comes into the equation. So it's really a coin toss whether you're going to get a competent administrator or not. No, it's true.
Yeah.
So somebody can win an election and become president of a football federation or a cricket federation and don't know nothing about cricket or football.
But
isn't that though, as my Mr. Fennell just said a while ago, isn't that like some simple things? Like knowing how to get somebody to do what you want them to do.
Don't change the facts that people get voted in all the time.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. But as a don't you supposed to have some form of experience of learning how to get somebody to follow you or to do what you want them to do? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, but even with
it's simple,
even so,
it's
even
not that hard. If me have an argument and I need something from you, right? I have to put aside all of that,
But
and find something that you probably want from me. You get what I'm
and
saying?
then you can lend me back something.
That's my point.
That doesn't help me,
So
man.
if you come in, whichever side, whether it's JTTA president or JOA, if you come in and say, boy, there's an issue between me and this person, but this person can help me in a certain way, you have to mend it. So everything can flow. Yeah. It's true. Is ego is a problem, but I think it's stupid. It's stupid to go about continue to have that, and at the end of the day, you are suffering, and the other side is suffering just to see it. It don't make any sense.
Too laid back.
So we're gonna have sports commentary
Right now.
Yeah, man.
Right
Yeah,
now.
man. People. You know what time it is? It's time for sports commentary.
Greetings, welcome all. After sports commentary, we invite all callers. The numbers to call are 615-952-0562 if you're in the USA, or 876-552-7406 on WhatsApp. Reggae Girls versus the Jamaica Football Federation. I don't know what y'all think is going on, but the girls made a point, I think, and they got on CNN about all the hardships and the impasse with JFF and all this kind of thing. FIFA came down, paid some money to the girls, made sure that everybody was paid. As it turns out, it was FIFA that had not paid the money over to the JFF. We like to beat up the JFF, but all is well. So why are the girls not playing the upcoming fixtures? I don't understand. Somebody needs to tell me if this is gone past the issue of money, because the issue of money has now been resolved, and yet we're going to send our second string team to go and play against Panama and possibly, is it Guatemala as well?
Guatemala.
Guatemala, and they can't resolve it. Come on, guys. The national interest is at stake here. A qualification berth in the Gold Cup, the female Gold Cup. Is beckoning, and instead we are fighting over pay that we have received, as far as I know. Did anybody watch Argentina and Brazil play? That was a match and a half. The match played at the legendary Maracana Stadium, where Argentina and Brazil tussled. And tussled, I mean tussled. There was war before the match when Messi was coming out with his people and saw the heat, the temperature, and took his team back inside because police were beating Argentine supporters with batons. And yeah, man was throwing things and flinging things. I don't know if I could play under that, under those circumstances, but let me tell you, the football was horrible. If that is what South American football has become, It's the most diving I have ever seen in a football match. The most rolling around. You think Neymar is bad? Everybody was clutching their shins and rolling. And I think that maybe the time has come for some rule changes. People have to be booked for this excessive diving because I saw very little football. Ugly goal, ugly match. Even though Argentina won. It was not a good memory for Messi's last game in the Maracana in Argentine colors. Trinidad did us proud. Soca warriors is what the man them call themselves. And I think they proved themselves to be true warriors because up against the mighty USA, Trinidad rallied and scored the latter 2 goals to upset the USA and move on. I'm very proud of Trinidad for that. But one player from the USA showed some intemperance, and put his side short of a man by not, he tried to keep a ball in play. The ball probably went over the line, probably did not, and he didn't agree. And the man kicked the ball into the seat, into the rafters in vexation and promptly got carted out of the game. So I'm going to talk about Demarai Gray, who after I saw the USA, I said, what a arrogant fellow. But then Demarai Gray, who I admire as a player, playing for Jamaica against Canada, did the exact same thing and put his country under pressure, right? He got a first yellow card, he didn't like it, he showed open dissent, visible dissent, and then the first touch he got at the ball, he cleared it again into the rafters, and so he got another card. Putting Jamaica into problems, because we have a semi-final to go play now, and our most outstanding player kick with the ball and put the team under pressure. I don't know, I don't know. Leon Bailey, I see somebody write something that if they put the shirt, what shirt? Leon Bailey is the number 7 or number 10? 7. If they put put the number 7 shirt over a rock, it would probably give the same result as Leon Bailey for Jamaica. Leon not doing much for Jamaica now, man. He maybe have a man marking him, but other than that, Leon is not having a good game. I saw them interview him the other day and he seemed angry. But Leon need to focus on his football. After they won the match, I see him doing the drift, some new drift moves, which is nice, you saw it? On Twitter. Yeah, man. Him and Boza doing the dance. They could be professional dancers, but I don't know about professional footballers. Boza did well, though. Coach Hall Grimson has pinned his fortunes on Leon Bailey. He's stubborn. I like that about him, though, I stand by your guy, and even though I think he's wrong for throwing his any old Leon Bailey messed up. That penalty that was taken in the match. I was very worried that Leon Bailey was going to take the penalty. But our boy,
Bobby, your boy,
Bobby Reid, who I would never pick on a Jamaica side. I like the way Bobby Reid step up and take the penalty, if you want to know the truth. As a matter of fact, if my memory serves me right, Bobby Reid supplied the second goal pass to thing there. And it was an accurate and well-timed pass. Who knew Bobby Reid could pass the ball? And Boza slotted the ball home. Well, looking like a good forward. This man couldn't find a goal in broad daylight without a goalkeeper in the previous several matches for Jamaica. I never thought Boza would ever score another goal for Jamaica. And what we get? 2 a brace in a critical match in cold weather. But I want to say something else about Coach Al Grimson. Based on the interviews I saw afterwards, it is clear to me that the tail wagged the dog. It's clear to me that the players being down a goal against Canada said to Coach, this strategy of yours ain't working. Coach, I want to move up front. Coach, you're doing foolishness, Coach. Allow me release my football tension. And guess what? It worked. Because that move is being hailed as genius. I see people talk about genius move and all that. It's the players' revolt. And Boza said, Onandi Low. I know it's not Onandi. Low. Damian Low said, let me move up front and do my thing. And it resulted in Jamaica looking the best they've ever looked, sparking some debate about how we should play ball. Should we play ball like the Africans, which is every man to a man and carry the ball, my youth, and box a man and pass the ball. They cannot take it from you. That is the way in which West Africans play football. And that's how I think Jamaica should play football. Carry the ball, broke a man if necessary, create the space, disrupt. We have talented ballers who can do this ball. Forget about the coach's ego. The coach wants to see ball passing around strategically. We had 50% possession and all this kind of thing. Football, take it to them. I loved it. I loved the game. The result was a massive buck up, if you want to know the truth, because they could have scored 5 goals in the opening half an hour. All credit to the keeper. And if that is the price we have to pay to win a match, then so be it. Our keeper is one of the most outstanding shot stoppers of all time. However, he is weak in handling lateral passes near to the goal. He doesn't know where to be, and his defense doesn't know where to be. Many of the goals are tap-ins because there's a lack of man marking that should take place when you're coming back. However, on the face of it, I'm going to do something I've never done. Give credit to Hall Grimson for this massive victory. History made. First time beating Canada in all history. Fantastic. Well done, Reggae Boys. Look forward to the next game. Moving on. Ilian Thompson Hera. The big news everybody talking about is Ilian joined Shelley. Girls together and all this. No such thing is taking place. They have the same coach. Get over it, people. They're going to train together. They're not going to wear matching outfits. You know, like Ilian called Shelley and said, we're running in the pink today, and they run together in the same outfits. Kumbaya. No such thing is occurring. What is happening is that the coach has taken a contract to coach Ilian, and no problem. Before, everybody was saying, Ilian need a coach, Ilian, so now she have a coach. Let's move on. Why are we talking now about the girls going to be training together? The girls going to be working out together. They're going to practice batting passes. They're going to wear matching outfits. Tomorrow is orange. And no such thing is taking place. And still on athletics. What's happening with Usain Bolt? Don't you think a big athlete, fastest of all time, should maintain at least a 6-pack or a 4-pack kind of thing? I saw Usain at a party with a big cigar. I think they call those cigars habanero. And the man dancing and have a good time. But it's not a pretty picture because the man have a curve. Like, Usain, man. 2 sit-ups and a little bit less rum. You know, come on, Usain. So, there's a song I heard the other day, and I thought about this coach. Yeah, Valiant. 100 million and nothing for me draw down. Have you heard the song? From you looking at my eye, you know the song? So I feel sorry for Shanique Osborne. Shanique won't be getting $100 million because Ilian take a coach elsewhere. I mean, my God, man, you couldn't ask for 50 million, 100 million you want to draw down? Just because of what thing they say. It was a bit too much money, Shanique. And I don't think it works like that. You want so much of all the other person have. It's a little bit of the red eye, if you want to know the truth. And now you'll have to figure out how to pay the water bill, the light bill, the gas bill without your $100 million. When a man comes to me $100 million, I'm thinking about AMG and X5 and all these kinds of things. Come on, man. That was a bit too much, don't you think? And finally, what the hell is happening with Shenseea? Shenseea left Jamaica how long now? Not making any music that we can relate to. The other day I heard a video come out and she's singing about, yo, bro, and all you niggers and bitches and Rolls Royce and all, you know, Shenseea has been cut off from music. And so sports commentary on behalf of Dale, on behalf of Kane, who is not here, on behalf of Froggy. Shenseea, come back Jamaica, come make some dancehall music, because what you're making now is not cutting it for me. You're not a rapper, Shenseea. And I don't think your career has stalled as far as I'm concerned. And that's sports commentary. What say you?
All right, people.
Another
You can call in if you want. All right, so the phone lines, the straight line is 615-952-0562. 615-952-0562.
For the WhatsApp line only, it's 1-876-552-7406. That's 1-876-552-7406.
Yeah, interesting. Very, a good take. That's a good take.
It's another sporting update. For those in the Costa Cup semi-final is going on now, Glenmuir and Diltill. It's 0-0. Clarendon and Garvey Maceo, it's 1-1. so far.
The big side, Clarendon,
Yeah, man.
1-1.
1-1 in
Okay,
Gavmasi. Let's have a good Costa Cup semi-finals.
Yeah.
But before we leave the schoolboy football, round-up of the Champions Cup. So KC had beaten Dintil 3-2. Clarendon defeated Georges 3-1, coming from behind from 1-0 down. Glenmuir defeated Mona 1-0 and Hydel defeated Gavmasi 4-2. So now we're looking at a Glenmuir KC semi-final and a Clarendon Hydel. Those are to be taking place on November the 28th. Manning Cup final will be on December 8th. The Costa Cup final December 9th. I think both will be played in the National Stadium, if my memory serves me well.
Okay, all right. So we hear Peter touch a little bit on the reggae girls. With the same issue.
It's no longer a money problem.
Yeah.
It's a more like an administrative problem at this point in time. I don't know what to make of it. I guess they're looking at why they never play in the last game. Okay, we're up to the last game. They're giving us a chance to come back now. But I can look at it at two sides of the coin. Probably you're looking at the administrative side. Hey, we're still not happy with how you dealt with things. There's something else that needs to be addressed before we come back. Or they can say, hey, we don't want to just come back in the side now and beat out those girls who were actually there before. Give them a chance as well. We are already here as the senior players, but we need other players. We need a local base as well. So give those girls a chance.
No,
What are the possible?
I was telling you guys long time, so it was never a money issue.
It's not money.
It's obviously they have some problem. They're not claiming that is mistreatment. They need notice when you have 14 days notice. But it's a deeper thing than that, man. It's
an internal rift.
Yeah,
between both.
It's between the head and the girls and the treatment and the firing of the coach. I think was one of the biggest issue right there with the reggae girls. But as I said, they said they're gonna move on without them for now. The stars of the World Cup, them say. They're gonna move on without the stars for now. And they have a game coming up
this Wednesday, I think.
The 29th, yeah.
This Wednesday
against Panama.
Yeah, and then on December 3rd it's against Guatemala.
And they won't play.
They won't be playing those. Well, one of those games they won't be played in. I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
So Gilbert is a good coach telling us. I think him will have the girls them playing.
Yeah, he had them playing well.
I said enough to scrape through. And yeah, man, I think Xavier Gilbert is a
competent coach.
It's unfortunate that they won't have the full squad, and to really implement his kind of system that they want to implement with all of the things that's happening now. But I think Xavier will do a good job and get the girls qualified.
Let's just hope he gets them.
All right, so. Good match. The
Reggae Boys.
The Reggae Boys, good match. It was a good result.
Good result.
I think the second half, they played much better in the second half than the first half.
I think the change that was made, putting Damon Lowe in the midfield, really impacted the game as well. He brought a little mobility in the midfield that he was lacking.
Yeah.
The tackles, breaking up play, and also passing the ball.
So you think going forward, and I think Peter mentioned it about the players deciding.
Yeah.
Tell the coach, say, this is what we want to do for this match, and the coach decides, okay, go ahead, go do your thing.
Well, word on the street is that it's Damien Lowe said to the coach, I want to play in midfield. I can play in midfield.
So you don't think that might cause a problem later?
No, because he was
because it worked. No,
it's not because it worked. he played midfield in high school, and I think Tapa Whitmore used him twice in midfield. So it's not like he's not accustomed to playing that position.
No, I don't mean him not meaning players telling the coach what to do.
Why?
That's where I'm coming from.
That might become a cantankerous thing in the future, because.
But it's good on the coach's part doing it.
Listen.
Yeah, man. It's good on the coach's part, but I don't know if it's really overall a good thing. Cause at times, players can get out of hand. You kind of set the stage for certain things to happen in the future.
Yeah, but that also says a lot about the coach.
Him don't have no ego.
And really ego about how much do you know your players?
Well,
how much do you trust your players?
Because one of the things that he said that he don't really like the open type of football. That's what Peter wants. Peter wants to play like Africans. The open style, the shifting, the move.
But the closed style not working either.
Well.
Because we have been playing closed for quite a while now, and It's not working.
So I want to go back to exciting football, like
Effective football, not effective football.
Effective football.
Yeah, difference between exciting.
Or just play according to what's in front of you. That's what you're saying, Peter, right? Play what's in front of you, based on the situation, what's in front of you, not to a system.
I've been forced to watch a little schoolboy football.
Yeah.
And what I've noticed is the schoolboys play more open. That is our national style. We need to play like that.
I agree then.
Whisper.
Yeah.
2 years ago, last year, Whisper, I watched Whisper. Whisper was a very direct. And if more Jamaicans play like that, I believe that's what I want.
Yeah, just need to play some effective football and it will work, and he needs to trust his players more.
I think sorry to break, I think Butler have the same kind of idea as well. Craig, we're saying that let us play according to our nature or whatever.
And stop trying to implement something.
Play more open and
that is what is happening to Brazil now. They're playing more European and less Brazilian.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Because the European nations are basically taking these Brazilians from their 13, 14, 15.
I'm trying to play a system that don't match the
Yeah,
that don't match them social
not
background.
the samba.
Yeah,
that we know about.
I get you. The mentality.
So
I get
it's causing a problem.
So play open football then.
Yes.
Play effective football. If effective is open, then so be it. But play a level of football that your players are comfortable with, and you can effectively get the best out of them.
All right.
And I think that is the problem.
So we'll face USA, not Trinidad. I think Trinidad
knocked out USA.
So
no, Trinidad got knocked
the
out.
21st we'll play 21st of March next year.
Next year, yeah, we'll be playing the USA.
The USA in the AT&T Stadium. So let us hope the open style. I think he need to have a couple changes in the squad as well.
I think he's not fully. The squad is not finalized, and for someone to be in position for this length of time, I think he should have had a solid squad to say, boy, these are my top 11. These are the 11 I want to use every game. It's not really solidified as yet. The back line is still open for debate.
Practice matches leading up.
Let us be clear on something. In our finest moment, it was when we abandoned the coach. So the question is, what is the style that the coach would like us to play? The coach is not teaching us a style of play at all. To be honest with you, he brought on Demarai Gray based on resume. Demarai Gray impose his style on the team.
I agree. Yeah,
right?
That is true.
It's not the coach doing it.
Yeah, Demarai playing his way regardless.
And this is my problem with Leon Bailey, because Leon Bailey can play that style as well. I've seen him do it in his German days. When Leon Bailey was playing for, what's the German team he was playing for?
Leverkusen.
Bayern
Leverkusen.
When he was playing for Bayern, right? Leon Bailey was taking it to them. Right? He had lots of space.
So what the crowd pressure, Peter, the Jamaican...
No. If Leon Bailey plays like that, he will be a major disruptor to opposing teams. And he has not played like that, by and large.
I'm trying to play...
As a matter of fact, him look out of position almost every time. Even him getting the ball in front of the goal, him look like him don't know what to do.
Because he's out of position. The coach playing him now at centre forward, and he doesn't like to play with his back to goal.
I prefer him on the That's correct.
Some football.
That's correct.
Play how you want to play. Regardless, but the coach not take care. Remember,
by the way, Demarai Gray don't like pass the ball, you know. Have you noticed?
I know that.
Every time that man is running to the goal, I know that he passes as a last resort. Demarai Gray want to score. That contract where him get in Africa, in Saudi Arabia, and I watched him play his last match yesterday. Right? He has freedom. That's what the man want. Yeah.
So Demarai Gray want to score and Leon want to skill pill.
I don't know what Leon wants to do now. I think that I don't know if Butler need to get into the national thing. I want to bring on Butler next week. I'm going to try and reach him.
Yeah, because in the Money Cup finals,
and he's
preaching that
his tail is in the air now. so we but I believe it's time for technical people to sit down and ask ourselves, what should our national team look like? You know? So I don't know. Hal Grimson, I'm available. Call me. I'll tell you what we should be doing.
And you're right, still, because even playing that style, you're gonna bring more people to the stadium.
Yes, attractive football.
Yeah.
I watch some Africans, and you can see them on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
Playing the six-a-side and the man them doing all kind of stylish things with the ball. That's what I want to see Jamaica do.
Yeah, man. I
They do
second
too
because
often.
we want some excitement too.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to the saga, the Elaine Thompson joining the elite
Stealing a coach.
track club.
She did not join the club. And I keep on
She
hearing
stole
you
a
guys
coach.
say it.
Hold on.
She has set up coaching arrangements with the coach
So
of the elite track club.
so how you think that's gonna work now?
They just have different hours.
Different hours.
Yes, I think Shelley usually train about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock evening time.
Shelly trains in the morning.
And I've seen Shelley train in the evenings.
There's two
up at
sessions,
UTEC.
morning
I've
and
seen-
evening
Okay,
sessions.
fine.
So how is this coach gonna work it? Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Uh-huh.
There's a human element to this. You think that Shelley is comfortable with this?
100% yes.
I don't.
You see, what you guys don't realize, let me tell you what I see.
Peter, you're a competitor, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And by the way, I didn't like
And you're
all this whole hug up thing going on either. You know. I did not like it. This season, near the end of the season, I see everybody being friendly and what's it, convivial or conjugal? Being friendly.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I see Sherika friending up. And I see Shakari
Shakari.
friending up. And Shelley friending up. Friend what?
End of
This
the
is
season.
track and field.
The end of the season,
right?
man. Them- a time for them.
So I think we're all looking for this let's all get along kind of situation.
Okay.
Right? This is training. Training is must be competitive if you're a competitor.
I agree.
We don't train together. You think that Usain wants to run these flats against Johan when they're on the same team?
They were.
No, there was an element of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
at the same time, 1 second.
Yeah, but you think it would have been a comfortable situation? Would you be comfortable with that setup as
Stole my coach.
you say?
Stole my coach.
I don't think it should be 100% comfortable.
The question I'll ask.
and when it comes down to the late season, you're preparing yourself for. So he's gonna leave there and go there and come back and go back and forth. Cause they'll be training at different venues.
And that's different venues, yeah.
It's not that difficult, dear.
No.
You guys are making it look so more difficult than it is. He can coach, and he's gonna get a lot of money, and he can coach two people at two different sessions. You have some coaches, you know. You might be one of them who coach down by Hillel, and then you come up by another school, and then you go by. It's as
What
simple
I
as
want to
that.
know is
It's not the same situation, but I get what you're saying.
It's not a wedding. It's
Yeah.
not a wedding
Yeah,
where our society says you can only be married to one person at a time. You
Yeah.
can coach and then stop and then go and coach the other coach and just arrange your sessions. And by the way, there might be times when they're all at the same location.
That
that's the
will
only
What's the
problem
issue? What's the
I
issue?
was saying that.
Yeah.
I think it would have worked better if everybody's at the same location.
Yeah.
No.
It would have sound. It would have been
It's
more
more ideal.
practical for me if everybody. Remember, it's world class. These are world class athletes, Peter.
It's
Special
running.
no, each of these athletes, they have to special attention will be needed for both Elaine and Shelley.
It's not as difficult as you make it out to be.
Come on.
Question I
not as
want to
difficult.
ask
Come
is
on.
this.
The
Is it
injuries, management of the injuries, everything, Peter.
is it
not that
Ronaldo
big a
Walcott
It's
and
not that big a deal.
It's not that big a deal. It's not $100 million worth of work. It's not that big a deal.
the question I'll ask is it Ronaldo Walcott and company will be coaching?
Obviously, must have a
Because
team. You
there's
can't
no
worry
There's a
way-
team. There's a team.
Because she's gonna need morning practice. Elaine will need morning practice.
No, you guys are
Coaching in the
making
morning.
it out.
But my says 2 sessions every day.
Can I say something?
So he can be at Shelley in the morning and be at
Yes, he
Elaine
can.
in the morning.
is several hours.
So the morning time would designate for Shelley because she's morning, and then the evening time would be for.
Why you're
for Elaine.
overcomplicating
So
the thing?
who will be at Elaine's morning session and who will be at Shelley's
where
evening
everybody has the
session?
problem is because everybody know that they don't get along. That's
Who
the
don't
reason.
get along?
The both athletes don't get
Both
along.
athletes don't get along.
That's known. That's a fact.
Listen.
So
Ilian,
Yeah.
she has a hard exterior.
Yeah.
And a lot of people assume that she's cantankerous
not
and miserable.
assume, Peter.
Is she
I
cantankerous?
don't know about that point, but I know we're not assuming that they don't get along. We all know this,
They don't get along.
right? So that's why.
Do we need to get along to train?
Not necessarily, no. But it still creates an environment that's why they don't. That's why you hear they're gonna train here and one person gonna train there. That's the
The atmosphere is very, very.
I don't think it's all that important.
It's important, man.
No, I can be in part of a team, and I can not like a person personally, and we train.
Yeah.
You hit a few cross court backhands, we hit a few. What the difference between?
I agree to some point. I agree to some point. But is it just that you don't like the person? What about the environment and other things within that?
You know what I think the problem is in Jamaica?
Yeah.
Too much mix up. That's the truth. Jamaican people just love mix up.
Well,
and we love to create misery where there needs to be none.
You think the public is creating something that's not there?
Yes, I think so.
Come on, Peter.
Let me tell you something. I have no doubt that Coach Ronaldo Walcott would have consulted with Ilian before it. I have no doubt.
Shelley before.
Shelley before.
He announced it.
No, I'm just saying. I have no doubt. And I have no doubt that Ilian, when Shelley said, yeah, why not? And moved on. And yet some people are incapable of moving on. You understand? Some of us are.
How old is Elaine Thompson? 31.
She's a few years younger than
31. So
Shelley. Shelley might have maybe one more year left, right?
Why are we counting off the years though? I mean,
she's not going to be like a Merlin.
Remember, it's not milk, that has an expiry date. It's just running.
She's not going to be like a Merlin. I think she have maybe one.
I doubt it. I think she will have a longer career than you guys think.
Who, Shelley?
Yes.
I think she's capable.
She's running 100 meters. Yeah. It's not very difficult.
I think she's skipping
aside
the
with the Peter, because I know track and field is easy. So you know, don't go on.
I don't want to disrespect the sport, but yeah.
But anyway, let's see if it works. I personally, I don't think it's gonna. I think something will happen.
It's not ideal.
Mid-season for me. I think something will happen mid-season.
I think we're overthinking it. I think that a track and field is very simple sport.
Why should never go back to family? I'm Francis.
Can't go back.
No chance.
Egos. It show you the role that egos play in that particular sport. Because
everybody know.
Frano's own ego. As coach, I would be willing to subside my ego, to put it aside for the sake of the common good. But him say no, under no circumstances. And then Ilian is saying the same. So what I tell you about athletics?
Yeah.
It's thing there. It's different.
And I know, so
okay. in a proper football team, I'm sure you could have Carreca and Ronaldo on the same team, or Ronaldinho. Don't matter if they get along and they know that they have to play.
Yeah.
You know, Mbappe and Neymar, big egos, but them play. PSG, Messi, all up on the same team. Can you imagine one team? And Messi has been on several of these teams with Messi and Neymar and Sanchez and all these other guys on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Egos.
Yeah. PSG didn't do well, but they didn't go.
The PSG are big team.
Never do well though.
They play Champions League and
I never think that when you have too many stars, it don't normally work out on teams. Trust me, if you look back at it, very few times it will, but majority of the times when you have a super team, most times it don't really
Somebody
work
has to give up something.
The dream team worked out though, basketball.
That's easy.
Dream team worked out.
Everybody miles ahead of the field at that time, 1992. And then you had the greatest NBA player of all time playing.
The great Michael Jordan.
Yeah, man, along with Hakeem Olajuwon and the great Magic Johnson. Can't lose.
But we had to have them at that Olympics though. It was very important. Was that Barcelona? Which Olympics was it?
It was Spain, Barcelona,
Spain,
1992.
For the big story, so West Indies cricket is again in the news.
You really looking at that? We're talking about the banning of Marlon. Is that what we're
going to talk about? Marlon issues are different.
I saw cricket and I saw schoolboy cricket on the TV.
Yeah, they've been carrying some school.
And that's a good move.
So I think that cricket died about 12 years ago and probably 20 years ago. So I don't know why we're still trying to revive cricket. I think we're flogging a dead horse. Cricket is now a sport for the subcontinent and Australia. It's another hemisphere.
Money is in
it. So
but not our money. Not our money.
Yeah,
not for us. It's just that Darren Bravo, which is Dwayne Bravo's brother.
So you never touched on the bigger point. Australia win the World Cup.
Yeah, but that was expected.
All right.
No, sir. No. That's not true.
Everybody was saying India couldn't lose.
They thought it was a fait accompli for India to just walk into this
greatest
thing. What kind of talk is that?
Nation on the planet.
Right now?
Australia by far, easily.
Yeah, easily.
The greatest. They come like China with TT. They
know how to perform when they need to perform.
Yeah, man.
So it's no brainer.
They have a good foundation and a good setup, man. Australia is cricket.
They professionalized cricket.
Of course.
And at the end of
it's a national sport.
Yeah. Of Australia? You sure about that?
Other than netball?
No, I see them playing a little thing where you lift up the man in the air and
Rugby?
catch the ball.
Rugby?
It's called Australian rules football.
Yeah,
It's not rugby.
I
think that's probably their national sport.
That was a cricket.
Go check it out.
But
That's
the one what we know this side of the world is cricket.
Yeah.
So that's why we might say cricket, but
No.
rugby is probably is the national sport.
Well, Darren Bravo omitted from the West Indies squad. One day.
Darren Barber, the
34.
Trinidad guy. 34?
him look older than that to me. You sure about that?
Yeah,
In shape?
Oh,
Well,
wait.
he's-
How old is the older Bravo?
37.
That's what I might
No,
be
Bravo
mixed.
is
Dwayne.
34.
Bravo. Oh, the Darren.
Darren is a
his
younger
young one.
sibling,
So he was
yeah.
omitted from the squad. It's a big hullabaloo because I think in the recent regional 50 overs tournament, he averaged 83.2.
Why does it matter? Why does it matter?
He has the leading average out of all of the persons who were picked ahead of him.
Top batsman.
He's the top
Hey,
batsman.
but let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Right.
Did you guys see Chris Gayle go down to India the other day and lick probably about 40 runs in a what?
I never see that one.
5 or 6 strokes? Chris Gayle is playing Indian what
IPL?
club? Yes.
Still?
Yes.
Chris Gayle still play cricket?
Yes.
Chris Gayle is like a
He's a superstar in India.
It's a
now.
cricket brand.
Yeah, he's a superstar in India now. He's not a regular star now. A superstar.
So it's because Chris Gayle still
Better
play.
known than Bolt in India. Not asking you, telling you.
Yeah, he would.
Of course.
He would.
The dream of every young Indian is to represent India in cricket.
Yeah.
Of every young youth, any youth on the corner
Yeah.
is cricket.
We
So you're
know
right.
that.
Are they good at any other sport? I don't know that
They're
play
coming up
anything
in
else.
badminton. They're pretty good in table tennis now. Yeah, you have a top 30 player, a couple of them.
And they have a javelin show in
yeah,
athletics.
They have a javelin throw.
Yeah.
I give you that.
They-
Pakistan have a better one.
they're going to come up in the technical sports more. They're not going to come in track and field.
But I mean, it's so much of them. It's 1.6 billion of them, you know.
Yeah, they're going to
Everybody
come up.
want
They
to be a
can't produce
cricketer.
a decent football team all now.
No, football is football is a little bit more physical and tactical. They're going to come up. They're going to come to the surface in technical sports, not
And you
physical
don't consider
sports.
you don't consider football technical?
Football is more tactical. Is more tactical and physical than technical.
A nation like
football is a simple
a nation
sport.
like Croatia, which can produce a world-class football team. How much semis them reach now? You're right.
Croatia, you ever look at the build of those people?
No. The point I'm making is
Yeah.
the population of Croatia is probably 5 or 6 million, right? And the population of India is 1.6 billion. China 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
And China can't find 11 man to play football.
China.
China have a
Nor
football
can
team,
India.
man.
No,
Nor can
China-
India.
that's
China
what
have a
I'm saying.
football
That's
team,
what I'm
man.
saying. Most of the Asian community, they're better at technical sports, small surface area, small
China have a
space.
football
That's why
team.
they don't do well in tennis. I'm not talking the females. The females still competitive in tennis, but the males, they can't compete because tennis require a certain amount of.
What you
physical
saying?
strength.
Are you saying the racket is too heavy for the Chinese?
I'm saying the surface area is too big and require
For the
more,
Chinese?
They require more physical. Yeah, yes, it is.
okay.
Chinese and Indians.
That's so like a very racist opinion.
No, it's not a racist opinion. It's just that they do well in sports that are more technical. Where you rely more on technical ability and
I
not
see.
physical.
I see.
But China has a football team.
There's a-
Yeah, but
and
they can't beat Harborview FC.
Of course.
No, sir. China could not
No,
beat
don't get me wrong,
Portmore.
no.
Portmore United could
They
beat
can
China.
come up with a good football team. You know. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They can do because football. Yeah, it's still good. It's still a small space sport. When you look at the triangle and the movement, so they still can.
You have a lot of theories.
I think in Sri Lanka and India alone, I don't have.
But it's obvious.
don't even have
It's a
football
theory.
team.
All right, look at the sports in track and field that the Chinese gold medal in the disciplines within track and field. Think about it. No, track and field. Hurdles.
Yeah, technical hurdles, javelin.
Javelin.
the
It's most
throws.
technical. Yeah, but in terms of the physical.
They have a pretty good 100-meter sprinter too, you know.
Well, he was Jamaican born.
I'm good at 50
Is Jamaican
meter.
man?
Yeah.
That's a lie. That's
But
the Japanese you're talking.
The
That's the Japanese you're talking.
but if you notice them, you know, they're good out of the blocks. The first 50, they're always in front, small, but they don't have that strength and that
It's a focus.
endurance. They don't have it. They don't have it.
So Chinese lack endurance. That's what you're saying.
No, Peter. Peter, you're always.
Yeah, they need to take some
But
effort.
what? There's most a reason why these countries. There's most a reason. So you look beyond just saying why.
Could it be that culturally, just like
That's
football?
cool, yeah.
That could be another thing too.
Yes.
But I'm sure that it has something to do with the makeup as well.
They say
I'm
young
sure.
professional.
I'm
Another
sure.
theory of
Yeah,
yes,
quick feet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ronald Levy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh
Oh,
my
the
God.
band of Christella and
I Ronald, well,
Yeah, what you make of those things now? What?
I think Christella calls it on himself. He's just
No man, that's procedural. That's
Yeah.
I thought he
okay.
was just ignorant of the whole situation.
Arrogant and
Meaning-
I
Yeah.
think he got a little indignant
Yeah.
that the guy called upon him early in the morning and was disturbing him. He was about to take his flight. But it comes with the territory. You want to be an international athlete, people are going to be checking you at all times.
Oh,
I
they
remember
have
one
something to
time
hide.
Bolt complained that them digging him up every minute.
Juke him every
Of
minute.
course,
And so on. So
Yeah.
that comes with the territory. So you pay the price for your arrogance. But Ronald, tell me about Ronald now.
Boy,
Them find a substance, two substances.
two substances,
actually,
yeah.
in his thing. How did it get there?
Malone can't tell you.
What is that? Masking agent or it was out of,
It can be a performance enhancer.
And it can be a
because
mask agent as
because
well.
it allows you to train longer and harder.
Oh,
So
it can
anything that
improve
do
your-
that can
oh.
improve your training and your results.
Yeah.
And it is it's a dangerous substance because it's found to cause damage to your liver and your
Yeah.
kidney.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the heart. But the point is that him have to explain how it gets in his system because A and B sample have now been tested. And
It's not just one, it's two.
What kind of ban him looking at? What time?
4
frame?
years.
4 years minimum.
How old is he?
About, sorry.
Run leave about him up there? Or-
I don't know. I don't know.
And
But
Chris Taylor is what? About 21, 22?
Crystal is younger, but
Crystal is-
this other guy, I saw that he's many times champion and so on. He's
Yeah.
been around a while.
Okay, so,
So
this
I would
might
put
be
him
the
at,
end.
I would put, yeah.
This might be just with
Yes,
the end.
yes.
Yeah, he
I
can
remember
retire.
Steve Mullins too.
He's 31.
Remember the band, Steve never really come back after. You know that this is one of the things that I respect about Justin Gatlin.
Tell me. Yeah, he came back from his
And he wasn't
twice, if I remember
and he
remember
wasn't
right.
that young.
Didn't Gatlin, no 2 times them catch Gatlin?
Yeah.
Two times?
Two times,
times.
it's not
Catch him
one
for
time.
For 04 Olympic after the 04.
Two times Gatlin has been banned.
Resilience. I respect this man. I respect
no,
Gatlin.
You respect him for the drugs or you respect him for his coming back from the drugs?
That's the persistent and comeback, and you know, at the end of it, him end up beating Bolt to win that 2017. He won the 2017 World Champ. No, I mean,
Last one.
him never give up, Peter. That's
Him
my
still
point.
come back and do him
come
after
back
that.
after ban,
Yes.
Yeah.
and never quit and keep pushing.
Because
So you think Bolt should keep pushing in the fitness era? 'Cause I was mentioning, what you think should happen? How it look for you to see the icon and him bottom cock out and him belly? How it look? How it look to you?
when
Bolt
compared to
eventually-
Asafa,
No, you know a bit about nutrition, so you tell me what you think is happening.
He has a high chest, you know.
More than
Yes.
consuming too much carbs.
You think it's alcohol?
Carbs, Peter. I believe it at carbs.
carbs is in alcohol.
It is.
Do you maintain that the big man of a punch, or you don't agree?
I agree.
So you
Not just no.
Yeah.
It was showing from way
He has a
back
high
when.
chest area, chest plate.
Yeah, but-
area.
is that an excuse?
It might make things look a little bit over.
Yeah.
High
So
chest.
because he is
Scoliosis,
here so high.
right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can have force. So
There's
it
a
might
high
look-
chest here.
Depending on what the
I
man
think
about.
no. Them say a man must live his best life, So it could be that he
best.
has no ambition in not ambition. He has no intention to.
You man,
Peter,
they're the Brazilians.
Peter, say your best life. I think it's not. What happens when you can't tie your own shoes lace? You know, is that a comfortable feeling when you, you can't even tie your own lace?
Well, my question is:
Yeah,
should an athlete let himself go after his career?
absolutely not.
No.
Because it comes with sickness, over time.
Well, let me go further. Would you say that Bolt has let himself go?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But hear what? Him still young, and him will understand as him get older that boy, this not gonna work out. As soon as it's gonna reach a time where boy it start to get uncomfortable to move on in certain position, and then you're gonna say, right, man, this I get out of hand, and he'll find back himself. Him still young. Him still young. Remember him going through that little phase now, you're not running anymore, not doing much anymore. Most of the athletes, when they stop and them have all of this,
I want to point out something to you.
They're gonna get out.
There's a match on record. You can go look it up on YouTube where a selection of French players played against a selection of world players. Both played in the match. Look good. Both played in the match.
Yeah.
But I want to point out to you the performance of Zidane. Zinedine Zidane has kept the body where him have for 30 years. And Zidane was playing world-class ball.
Yeah.
You saw that?
Ian Henry.
Thierry Henry as well.
Of course.
But more
You
Zidane.
see him, yeah.
It gave me appreciation for how great an artist Zidane really is.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Some people have him as the greatest. You know?
And this would tend to underline that.
Yeah, some
But
people
but
really
when you
have
compare-
Zidane
Yeah.
as maybe the greatest. Well, let me say midfielder without a doubt.
Possibly.
Without a doubt, because I watched the 2006 World Cup against Brazil, France and Brazil in the
Yes,
quarters.
yes.
Zidane dismissed people with the simplest of moves.
Just one
He
time.
never have to do
Yeah,
much.
but
I see
I
three
must say,
Brazilian running in the
as
opposite
midfielders
direction.
go though, as midfielders
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
I remember, I think it's Platini's name, Michel Platini from France.
Yeah.
Also a great midfielder for different reasons. The long range passing with that man had.
Right, De Bruyne.
His passing was amazing.
Yeah.
You know, Zidane, I don't know about his passing as much, but Zidane was a general in terms of
man.
carrying the ball
I
forward.
see that man drop him shoulder and it's 2-man run gone, so the ball even move gone nowhere. And I say, yo, these Brazilian people were supposed to know about skill and all them things.
Yeah.
The man them have them as a run
Yeah,
up and
Zidane
down.
was
in a
something
circle.
else.
No, man, him great.
It's
man,
because
him
he
great.
moves so slow and so elegant. They don't know what he's going to do next.
Yeah, man, him great, man. I just sorry say him book the man in the finals.
Yeah, that was,
I think France
he
could
was
have-
being provoked.
Yep, obviously. You know, the man know what to say to him, and I know Zidane already.
Yeah.
Him have a temper. Well, all great ballers do, you know,
Yeah.
except Messi.
It's true.
All
I
great
never
ballers,
saw any temper from
Messi.
Messi.
I've seen
all
temper,
great
yeah.
ballers. Maradona. Oh, you saw that clip with Maradona doing the thing with the ball. I hear people talking
Yeah, I
about.
always see it. I've seen it.
No, Maradona. I don't think people really see. A lot of people would not have seen Maradona.
Yeah.
But trust me, when you watch the skill and the touch that Maradona
Yeah, the skill
had,
level. His skill level was extremely high.
Who
His
do you think had
feeling
more
for the ball.
touches? Maradona or Ronaldinho?
boy, it's close. It's just that Ronaldinho did it more in the matches in terms of him is like the Nielsen. Remember the Nielsen?
Think about it.
I'm more of a showman. He's more of a showman on
yeah.
the pitch. But I think Maradona could have done the same.
Ronaldinho
thing.
tricks were next level.
Yeah.
And in the dribbling and the things he could do with the ball, next level.
All right, but you know, boy, we're gone off. But you know, people,
Who we have
we'll
next?
We'll come to the end of another Primal Sports. And I want to
DJ
thank-
Q.
I want
Q
to thank
again.
all the listeners.
Q is in Q.
Yes.
FM 96 Prime, the Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube, the World Wide Web, for joining us here today. I'm your host, Dale.
And I'm Froggy O'Neill.
Controversial boss here.
So until next week, have a good evening.